The alarm screamed through the corridors of the human ship Meridian. Red lights flashed as Commander Jake Morrison ran toward the bridge. His boots pounded against the metal floor while sparks flew from damaged panels around him. "What's our status?" Jake shouted as he reached the control room. Smoke filled the air and made his eyes water. Pilot Kate Williams gripped her controls with white knuckles. Sweat dripped down her face as she fought to keep the ship steady. "Main engines are dead, sir. We're going down fast. I can't stop it." "Doctor." Lisa Grant looked up from her science station. Her hands shook as she read the data on her screen. "We're heading straight for Keth 7. That planet is marked as a death zone by the Federation. No one survives there." Tech specialist Ryan Cole worked frantically at his computer. His young face was pale with fear, but his fingers moved quickly across the keys. "I'm trying to get emergency power to the shields. Maybe we can soften the landing." Jake grabbed the communication device and spoke into it. "All crew members prepare for emergency landing. Secure everything that can move. This is going to be rough." The Meridian shook violently as it entered Keth 7's atmosphere. The hull groaned and creaked under the pressure. Through the front window they could see a world covered in red rocks and strange purple clouds. Kate fought with the controls as the ship spun out of control. "I can't hold her steady. We're coming in too fast." "There," Lisa pointed at her screen. "That flat area between those tall rocks. It's our best chance." The ship hit the ground hard. Metal bent and twisted as the Meridian slid across the rocky surface. Pieces of the hull broke off and scattered behind them. Finally, after what felt like forever, the ship came to a stop. Silence filled the bridge. Then, Jake slowly stood up and looked around. "Everyone alive?" "I think so," Kate said. She touched a cut on her forehead and winced. Ryan checked his equipment. Half of his screens were dark and broken. "Most of our systems are down. The communication array is completely destroyed." Lisa stood up on shaky legs. "The hull is cracked, in 3 places. We're breathing the planet's air now." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Every Federation species knew about Keth 7. 3 different alien expeditions had tried to explore this world. All of them died within days. The planet was famous throughout the galaxy as a place where nothing could survive. "How long do we have?" Jake asked Lisa. She looked at her readings and frowned. According to Federation records, the longest any expedition lasted here was 4 days. Most died within hours. Kate laughed, but it sounded nervous. "Great, so we're already dead. We just don't know it yet." Ryan stood up and walked to the broken window. Outside they could see the strange landscape of Keth 7. The sky was an odd yellow color, and the rocks seemed to glow with their own light. In the distance, something large moved between the tall stone formations. "What killed the other expeditions?" Jake asked. Lisa pulled up files on her damaged computer. The first team was from the Zeltharian Empire. They were reptile-like beings, very advanced. They landed in the same type of area we did. All 12 crew members were found dead 3 days later. "What killed them?" "The air contains trace amounts of several toxic compounds. The temperature swings from very hot during the day to freezing at night. There are also predators. Large ones." Jake walked over to a supply cabinet that had fallen over. He started pulling out items and checking them. "What about the other expeditions?" "The second was a scientific team from the Aquatic Alliance. They brought full environmental suits and a mobile base. They lasted 4 days before their equipment failed. The third expedition was military, from the Insectoid Federation. They had weapons and armor. They died on the first night." Ryan turned away from the window. His face was white. "There's something moving out there. Something big." Jake looked outside and saw shadows moving between the rocks. Whatever they were getting closer to the ship. "We need to make this place secure. Kate, can you seal the hull breaches?" "I can try, but it will take time." "Lisa, I need you to test everything. Air, water, soil, plants, find out what we're dealing with." "Already started," she said, working at her portable testing kit. "Ryan, get me a list of everything that still works. We need power, communication, and weapons." The young man nodded and went back to his damaged computers. Jake found his military pack in the storage area. Inside were tools and supplies he hoped he would never need, but his training as a Navy SEAL had taught him to be ready for anything. Even this. As the hours passed, they learned more about their situation. The air was breathable for humans, but it contained chemicals that would poison most alien species. The water could be filtered and made safe. The temperature dropped fast when the sun went down, but it was not cold enough to kill them. "This is strange," Lisa said as she looked at her test results. "Everything that killed the other species is just uncomfortable for us. It's like this planet was made to test humans specifically." Outside, they could hear sounds. Growling and scratching noises came from all around the ship. Whatever lived on Keth 7 knew they were there. Jake checked his weapon and looked out into the growing darkness. "We're not like the others who came here. We're from Earth. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and wars. We've lived through things that would destroy most species. You really think we can survive here?" Kate asked. Jake smiled grimly. "We're going to do more than survive. We're going to show this Deathworld what humans are made of." The first night on Keth 7 had begun. Outside, alien predators circled their crashed ship. But inside, 4 humans, prepared to fight for their lives using skills learned on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. Earth had made them strong. Now they would find out just how strong they really were. 3 weeks had passed since the Meridian crashed on Keth 7. Jake Morrison stood on top of their makeshift watchtower, looking out over the camp they had built. What started as desperate survival had turned into something much more. The humans had not just lived through their first night. They had thrived. Below him, Kate Williams worked on a strange machine made from ship parts and alien metal they had found scattered around the crash site. Her hands were dirty with grease, but she smiled as she tightened the last bolt. "Got it working," she called up to Jake. "This atmospheric processor from the old Zeltharian camp actually works better now than when they built it." Jake climbed down from the tower. Around them, their base camp spread out in all directions. They had built walls from the red rocks of Keth 7. Gardens grew in neat rows where Lisa had planted seeds from their emergency supplies. Solar panels taken from 3 different wrecked alien ships powered their equipment. "Any word from Ryan?" Jake asked. "He's still out at the bone field," Kate said, looking through more of those alien remains. The bone field was what they called the area where previous expeditions had died. Jake had wanted to avoid it at first, but Lisa insisted they needed to understand what killed the others. What they found there changed everything. Dr. Lisa Grant knelt beside the skeleton of what used to be a Zeltharian explorer. Her portable lab equipment beeped and hummed as it analyzed the remains. Ryan Cole sat nearby, taking apart a piece of alien technology. "Look at this," Lisa said, holding up a small device. This was their air filter. It stopped working after 2 days because it couldn't handle the trace metals in the atmosphere. Ryan looked up from his work. "The metals that give us more energy when we breathe them?" "Exactly. What poisoned them makes us stronger." Lisa stood up and brushed dirt off her knees. "I've tested 12 different skeletons now. They all died, from things that barely affect humans." "What about the predators?" Ryan asked. "The report said giant creatures killed the military expedition." Lisa pointed toward a pile of larger bones near some destroyed weapons. "I found bite marks on their armor. Deep ones. But look at this." She showed him a piece of metal with scratches on it. "These claw marks are from the same creatures that attacked our camp last week." Ryan remembered that night. The pack of 6-legged beasts had surrounded their walls, growling and trying to break through, but Jake's military tactics and their improvised weapons had driven them off. What seemed impossible to survive had been just another difficult night for the humans. "The Federation species are strong in space," Lisa continued, "but they evolved on safe worlds. When they meet real danger, they don't know how to handle it." Ryan finished taking apart the alien device and held up a small power cell. "Their technology is amazing, but it's built to work perfectly under perfect conditions. When something breaks, they can't fix it." He grinned. "Good thing Kate can fix." Anything. Back at the main camp, Jake and Kate heard footsteps approaching. They turned to see Lisa and Ryan walking back from their research trip. Both of them carried bags full of salvaged alien equipment. "What did you find?" Jake asked. "Enough technology to build a small city," Ryan said. "The aliens brought incredible equipment, but none of them knew how to adapt when it broke." Lisa set down her bag and pulled out a water purification unit. This Aquatic Alliance purifier stopped working because the filter got clogged with local minerals. It would have taken them 5 minutes to clean it, but they didn't think to try. "Why not?" Kate asked. "Because on their homeworlds, nothing ever clogs. Their technology is designed for perfect conditions." Lisa shook her head. "They never learned to improvise." Jake looked around at their camp. In 3 weeks, they had done what 3 separate alien expeditions could not do in months of planning. They had not just survived Keth 7. They had made it home. "We need to expand," Jake said. "There's a valley 2 kilometers north that would be perfect for growing more food." "The one with the sulfur springs?" Kate asked. "That area is marked as extremely dangerous in the Federation surveys." "Dangerous? For them," Lisa said. "I tested the water yesterday. It's actually good for us. The minerals will help our bones stay strong in this gravity." Ryan laughed. "Let me guess. Another thing that kills aliens but helps humans?" "You're starting to see the pattern," Lisa said. As the sun began to set, the 4 humans gathered around their fire. The flames danced and cast long shadows on the walls of their fort. In the distance, they could hear the calls of Keith 7's native creatures. Sounds that had terrified previous expeditions now seemed normal. "I've been thinking," Jake said. "What if Earth isn't a garden world like the Federation thinks? What if it's actually one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy?" Kate poked the fire with a stick. "That would explain a lot. Why we can eat almost anything, breathe almost any air, survive in almost any temperature. Why we heal so fast," Ryan added. "Why we can think clearly under pressure. Why we never give up," Lisa finished. Jake stood up and looked at the stars, beginning to appear in Keth 7's strange yellow sky. Somewhere up there, the Federation marked this world as a death zone, a place where nothing could live. But down here, 4 humans had built a thriving settlement. They had gardens and workshops. They had defeated predators and mastered the environment. They had turned a death world into a new home. "Tomorrow we start expanding to the valley," Jake said. "In a month we'll have the whole southern continent." "Apt. What about rescue?" Kate asked. Jake smiled. "Maybe we don't want to be rescued. Maybe we want to show the galaxy what humans can really do." The fire crackled as night fell over their camp. Around them, Keth 7 settled into its deadly rhythm. But the humans were no longer afraid. They had learned the most important lesson of all. They were not victims of this death world. They were its new masters. Captain Zethkar stared at his scanner screen in disbelief. His reptilian eyes blinked twice, then 3 times. The numbers could not be real. "Run the scan again." He ordered his crew aboard the Federation monitoring station Watchful Eye. Science. Officer Veltara moved her tentacles across her control panel. Her aquatic body floated in the special water tank that kept her alive in space. "Same readings, Captain. 4 life signs on Keth 7, all human. All showing normal vital signs." "That is impossible," Zethkar hissed. "It has been 2 months since their ship crashed. Nothing lives on Keth 7 for more than 4 days." The bridge fell silent. Every member of the mixed species crew knew the stories about the death world. 3 expeditions had tried to explore it. All had failed. The planet was marked in red on every Federation star chart as a place no living thing should ever go. "Could our equipment be broken?" asked Navigator Quexelon, an insectoid officer with compound eyes. Veltara checked her instruments again. "All systems working perfectly. The readings are clear. 4 humans, alive and healthy." Zethkar turned away from the screen. His scaled hands shook slightly. "Contact Federation Command. Tell them we have a situation that requires immediate attention." 6 hours later, Admiral Chen Rodriguez received the emergency message aboard the human diplomatic ship New Hope. She was returning from a meeting with the Galactic Council when the communication came through. "What do you mean they're alive?" she asked the holographic image of Captain Zethkar. "Exactly what I said, Admiral. 4 human life signs detected on the surface of Keth 7. They appear to be not just surviving, but thriving." Chen Rodriguez felt her heart race. She had read the mission reports. The Meridian had been declared lost with all hands. Memorial services had already been held for the crew. "Are you certain these readings are accurate?" "We have run the scan 17 times. The results are always the same." Chen Rodriguez closed her eyes and thought. If humans could survive on Keth 7, it would change everything. The Federation had thousands of planets marked as uninhabitable, worlds that could provide resources, living space, and strategic advantages. "Captain Zethkar, I am ordering an immediate rescue mission. Prepare your fastest ship." "Admiral, with respect, no rescue mission has ever been attempted on Keth 7. The risks are too great." "The risks are too great for your people," Chen Rodriguez said firmly. "But we are talking about humans. We will handle this ourselves." 2 days later, the Federation rescue ship Unity's Dawn approached Keth 7. The mixed-species crew wore their best environmental suits and carried enough emergency equipment to supply a small army. Captain Zethkar commanded the mission personally. He had never seen a Deathworld up close, and his curiosity was stronger than his fear. Beside him, Science Officer Veltara monitored every sensor reading. "The atmosphere shows the same toxic readings as always," she reported. "Temperature variations are extreme. Radiation levels would kill most species within hours. And yet the humans live," Zethkar said quietly. As they entered the atmosphere, their sensors picked up something unexpected. Instead of 4 scattered life signs struggling to survive, they detected organized structures. Gardens, power sources, what looked like a permanent settlement. "That cannot be right," Veltara said. "Run the sensors again." The readings remained the same. The humans had not just survived, they had built a colony. The Unity's Dawn landed near what appeared to be the main human settlement. Through their ship's cameras, the crew could see walls made of local stone, solar panels, and cultivated fields. "The air outside will kill us in minutes," warned the ship's medical officer, a tall gray being with large black eyes. "Then we move fast," Zethkar decided. "Emergency protocols, 30 minutes maximum exposure." The rescue team stepped outside wearing their best protective gear. Immediately alarms began sounding in their suits. The air was poison, the temperature was wrong, the radiation was deadly. They walked toward the human settlement expecting to find desperate survivors hiding in makeshift shelters. Instead, they found something that made no sense. A human woman walked toward them wearing nothing but normal clothes. No protective suit, no breathing apparatus. She moved easily in the toxic air and smiled as she approached. "Hello," Dr. Lisa Grant called out. "You must be the rescue team. Would you like some coffee? I just made a fresh pot using local plants." The alien stared at her in shock. She was not dying. She was not even uncomfortable. She looked healthier than most beings they knew who lived on paradise worlds. You are not wearing protection." Veltara's voice crackled through her suit's communication system. "Protection from what?" Lisa asked. "The air is fine. A little rich in minerals, but that's actually good for you." Captain Zethkar felt his world turn upside down. Everything the Federation knew about survival was wrong. Everything they believed about Deathworlds was a lie. "How many of you are alive?" he managed to ask. "All 4 of us. Jake, Kate, Ryan, and myself. We're doing quite well, actually. Would you like a tour of our settlement?" The rescue team followed Lisa through the human colony. They saw gardens growing in soil that should have been poisonous. They saw workshops where humans had built new technology from alien salvage. They saw a people who had not just survived impossible conditions, but had made those conditions work for them. "The other expeditions," Zethkar said weakly. "They all died here." We found their remains, Lisa said sadly. They brought incredible technology, but they could not adapt when things went wrong. They were not prepared for a world like this. And you were? Lisa smiled. Captain, we come from Earth. Every day on our homeworld was training for this. As the rescue team returned to their ship, their minds raced with the implications. If humans could colonize Deathworlds, the balance of power in the galaxy would shift forever. Thousands of planets previously thought uninhabitable could become human colonies. Contact the Galactic Council immediately, Zethkar ordered as soon as they were safely inside their ship. What should I tell them? His communications officer asked. Zethkar looked back at the human settlement through his ship's cameras. In the distance, he could see Jake Morrison and his team working on expanding their colony even further. Tell them everything we thought. We knew about survival is wrong. Tell them the humans are not just another species joining the Federation. He paused, searching for the right words. Tell them the humans are the solution to every world we thought was impossible to live on. The Federation rescue ship Unity's Dawn had been orbiting Keth 7 for 3 days. Captain Zethkar spent most of that time staring at the scanner readings, still unable to believe what they showed. Admiral Rodriguez's ship will arrive in 2 hours, reported his communications officer. Zethkar nodded. He was glad the human admiral was coming. This situation was beyond anything in Federation protocols. How do you rescue people who do not need rescuing? Below on the planet's surface, Jake Morrison stood on the walls of their expanded settlement. In 2 months, they had built something that looked more like a small town than a survival camp. Stone, buildings lined neat streets, gardens produced more food than they could eat, workshops hummed with activity as they built new machines from salvaged alien technology. Jake, we have incoming ships, Kate Williams called from the communication center. Looks like our ride home is here. Jake climbed down from the wall and walked to where his team was gathered. Lisa Grant was examining a new plant species she had discovered. Ryan Cole was working on a device that could turn the planet's toxic rain into clean drinking water. Do we want to go home? Jake asked. The question hung in the air. They had talked about this many times over the past weeks. Earth seemed far away now. The Federation seemed small and limited compared to what they had learned about survival. I vote we stay, Kate said. At least for a while longer. There's so much more to explore here. The Federation needs to see what we've accomplished, Lisa added. They need to understand what humans are capable of. Ryan looked up from his work. Besides, someone should be here when they send the next expedition. They're going to need our help. 2 hours later, Admiral Chen Rodriguez stepped off her shuttle and onto the surface of Keth 7. Unlike the previous rescue team, she wore only standard Federation uniform with a small breathing mask. Her research had told her that humans could survive here, but she wanted to be careful. Jake met her at the landing pad they had built from salvaged ship parts. Welcome to New Eden, Admiral. New Eden. Chen Rodriguez looked around at the thriving settlement. You named it? Seemed appropriate. This place has given us everything we needed to build a new kind of life. As they walked through the settlement, Admiral Rodriguez saw things that made her question everything she knew about human limitations. Houses built with techniques that combined Federation technology with local materials. Gardens that grew in soil that should have killed any earth plant. Workshops where humans had improved alien designs using simple tools and creative thinking. How is this possible? She asked, as they passed a water treatment facility that was working better than most Federation standard units. Earth taught us to adapt, Jake said simply. Every other species in the galaxy evolved on worlds that were safe and predictable. We evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day. They entered the main community building where Lisa was waiting with her. Research data, charts and graphs covered every wall showing test results and analysis from their 2 months on Keth 7. Admiral, what we've learned here changes everything, Lisa said. The Federation has marked over 3,000 worlds as uninhabitable, but they're only uninhabitable for Federation species. She pointed to a large map showing the local star systems. Red dots marked planets that were considered death worlds. Every one of these could support human colonies. We could expand across the galaxy into places no one else can go. Admiral Rodriguez studied the data. Her military mind immediately grasped the strategic implications. The Federation Council needs to see this. There's more, Ryan said, joining them. He carried a device that looked like a combination of human and alien technology. We've been improving Federation equipment using techniques they never thought to try. This atmospheric processor works 3 times better than the original design. How? Simple. The aliens built it to work perfectly under perfect conditions. We built it to work well under any conditions. Kate walked in carrying a tablet full of engineering diagrams. Same thing with their vehicles, their computers, their weapons. Everything the Federation builds assumes nothing will go wrong. When something does go wrong, they don't know how to fix it. Admiral Rodriguez felt the excitement growing in her chest. Show me everything. They spent the next 6 hours going through every innovation the humans had made. Jake demonstrated combat techniques that had driven off predators that killed trained alien soldiers. Lisa showed how human biology processed toxins that were lethal to other species. Ryan explained engineering solutions that were simple, effective, and completely outside Federation thinking. Kate displayed flight techniques that let them navigate weather patterns that grounded alien aircraft. This is incredible, Admiral Rodriguez said as the tour ended. But I have to ask the obvious question. Why should we share this with the Federation? We could keep these advantages for ourselves. Jake considered this carefully. Because that's not who we are. Earth taught us to survive, but it also taught us to help others survive. The Federation gave us a place in the galaxy. Now we can give them something back. Besides, Lisa added, there are thousands of Deathworlds out there. We can't colonize them all ourselves. But working together with other species, we could turn uninhabitable planets into thriving worlds. Admiral Rodriguez smiled. The Council is going to have a very interesting debate about this. That evening, the humans and Admiral Rodriguez sat around their fire pit, looking up at the stars. Ships from 3 different Federation species orbited overhead, all of them afraid to land on the surface. What happens next? Kate asked. Next, we go back to Federation space, Admiral Rodriguez said. We present your findings to the Galactic Council. We show them that humans are not just another member species. What are we then? Ryan asked. Admiral, Rodriguez looked around at the settlement they had built on a world that was supposed to kill them. You're the key to the universe. Every world the Federation thought was impossible to live on is now possible. Every resource we thought we could never reach is now within our grasp. She paused and smiled. You're not just survivors. You're the future of galactic expansion. Jake stood up and looked at his team. Then I guess we better get ready to teach the galaxy how to survive. Above them, the stars seemed brighter than before. Each one represented worlds that other species feared to explore. But for humans from Earth, they represented new homes waiting to be built. The great chamber of Federation Station Harmony 9 had never been so crowded. Representatives from 47 different species filled the massive hall, all of them staring at the 4 humans standing at the center podium. Jake Morrison looked out at the sea of alien faces. Reptilian Zeltharians sat next to aquatic Velterans. Insectoid warriors shared space with crystalline beings whose bodies caught and reflected the chamber's lights. 3 months ago, he had been a simple ship commander. Now he stood before the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Members of the Galactic Council, Admiral Chen Rodriguez announced from her position beside the humans. I present the survivors of Keth 7, the first beings in galactic history to not only survive a death world, but to thrive on it. A wave of whispers swept through the chamber. Council leader Thexnar, a tall being with silver skin and large black eyes, raised his hand for silence. Commander Morrison, please tell us in your own words what happened on Keth 7. Jake stepped forward. Honorable Council leader, we crashed on a world that was supposed to kill us. Instead, we found a world that challenged us, and humans have never backed down from a challenge. He activated the holographic display behind him. Images of New Eden appeared in the air above the council. Gardens growing in toxic soil, buildings made from salvaged alien technology, humans working without protective suits in conditions that would kill most species within minutes. We did not just survive, Jake continued. We built a home. We created new technology. We found ways to turn deadly conditions into advantages. Dr. Lisa Grant stepped up to join him. Council Leader, May, I present our medical findings? The display changed to show charts and graphs. Human biology processes the toxins on Keth-7 as beneficial minerals. The radiation that kills other species actually strengthens our immune systems. The extreme temperatures that destroyed previous expeditions are well within human tolerance. Ranges. An insectoid council member clicked his mandibles loudly. This is impossible. Our best scientists have studied Deathworlds for centuries. Nothing can survive on them. Nothing you know about, Ryan Cole said, moving to the display controls. But humans evolved differently. Our home world was never safe. We learned to adapt because we had to. The display showed Earth as seen from space. The beautiful blue and green world that most aliens thought of as a paradise. Earth looks peaceful, Ryan continued. But it is one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. Ice ages that lasted thousands of years. Volcanoes that blocked out the sun. Diseases that killed millions. Predators that hunted us for food. Natural disasters that destroyed entire civilizations. Kate Williams joined her teammates. Every generation of humans survived things that would have ended most species. We learned to work together, to improvise, to never give up. Earth made us into the ultimate survivors. Council Leader Thexnar leaned forward in his chair. What are you proposing? Jake looked at his team, then back at the council. We propose a new era of galactic expansion. There are 3,000 worlds marked as death zones in Federation space. We believe humans can colonize most of them. The chamber erupted in noise. Some species cheered at the idea of accessing new resources. Others seemed afraid of human expansion. A few appeared angry that their assumptions about survival had been proven wrong. Furthermore, Admiral Rodriguez added when the noise died down, the humans have improved Federation technology in ways our best engineers never imagined. They can teach us new approaches to problem solving that could benefit every species. A Zeltharian representative stood up. And what do humans want in return for this knowledge? Jake smiled. Partnership. We share our survival techniques. You share your advanced technology. Together we explore worlds that neither of us could handle alone. You could simply take these worlds for yourselves, observed an aquatic council member. Humans would have enormous advantages on Deathworlds. We could, Lisa agreed. But that's not what Earth taught us. Earth taught us that cooperation helps everyone survive. The strongest human tribes were the ones that worked together. Council Leader Thexnar called for a recess. The council members gathered in small groups, discussing the implications of what they had heard. Jake and his team waited quietly, watching alien politics in action. 2 hours later, the council reconvened. Thexnar stood to address the chamber. The Galactic Council has reached a decision. We hereby establish the Human Survival Corps, a joint Federation organization led by human specialists. This corps will evaluate previously uninhabitable worlds and assist in their colonization. The chamber buzzed with excitement. Furthermore, we grant Commander Morrison the rank of Federation Explorer General, with authority to recruit teams for Deathworld missions. Dr. Grant will head the new Department of Extreme Environment Biology. Specialist Cole will lead the Adaptive Technology Division. Pilot Williams will command the Hostile Environment Flight Academy. Jake felt his heart racing. This was more than they had hoped for. Finally, Thexnar continued. We are reclassifying Earth. No longer will it be listed as a garden world. Earth is hereby designated as the most dangerous inhabited planet in Federation space, and its people are designated as our specialists for impossible worlds. As the council session ended, representatives from dozens of species approached the humans. Everyone wanted to discuss partnerships, joint missions, and shared technologies. Well, Kate said as they walked back to their quarters, I guess we're not going home to Earth anytime soon. Are you disappointed? Jake asked. Kate looked out through the station's main window at the stars beyond. No. Earth taught us to survive. Now we get to teach the galaxy how to explore. Lisa pulled up a star chart on her portable device. I've been looking at the list of death worlds near Federation space. 12 of them have resources that could supply the entire galaxy for centuries. When do we start? Ryan asked. Jake smiled as he looked at his team. 3 months ago, they had been crash survivors. Now they were the key to unlocking the galaxy's greatest mysteries. Tomorrow, he said, the universe is full of impossible worlds waiting for the right people to make them possible. Outside the station, ships from across the Federation were already preparing for humanity's first official Death World expeditions. The age of galactic exploration had begun, led by the survivors of the most dangerous planet in the universe. Earth had made them strong. Now they would make the galaxy larger,